Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, one of the most anticipated MCU movies lately, will finally be released this year. In this video, we provide you with an overview of all the details that are known so far about the Marvel sequel. We wish you lots of fun with our new original, and of course, there is a risk of spoilers regarding the first part. Speaking of which, let's first turn our attention to a brief recap of Part 1. The story of Black Panther from 2018 takes place after the events of Captain America's Civil War and shows the then Prince T'Challa returning to Wakanda and being crowned king after the death of his father. However, he quickly finds that he has to face a lot of resentment as a result of his post, especially among the different political groups in the country. First and foremost, he has to deal with his opponents Killmonger and Claw. It later leads to the fateful fight between Killmonger and T'Challa, during which the king's old advisor Zuri tragically dies. At first glance, it appears that T'Challa was killed by Killmonger when he was thrown out into the Warrior Falls, though he's later found and nursed back to health by the Jabari. T'Challa eventually returns and prevents Killmonger's reckless plan to deliver Wakanda's advanced weapons to all the oppressed blacks across the world. Together with his allies, T'Challa finally manages to mortally wound his adversary Killmonger in the Great Mound, thus regaining rule over Wakanda. So much for the storyline of the first part. Now that you're ready for the sequel, let's talk about the possible plotline of the second part. Naturally, the tragic death of T'Challa actor Chadwick Boseman nearly 2 years ago is still very much on our minds. Aside from the human loss which left many colleagues and the entire Hollywood community in grief, there was also the question of how to proceed with the character T'Challa. It is also certain that the role was not recast, which is a good decision and we can all agree upon. Also, the general direction that the sequel will take is pretty clear. There will be more focus on well-known characters and a deeper insight into Wakandan history and mythology. Since the exact plot is still largely unknown, there are many rumors surrounding the MCU film. At least one thing is certain: in addition to the new main character Shuri, especially the villain Namor the Submariner will create a stir. Namor is the ruler of Atlantis and originally the Marvel equivalent of DC's Aquaman, except he's evil. He's the son of a human and an Atlantean princess, so his allegiance is entirely to the Sea Kingdom. His abilities are wide-ranging. In addition to classic superpowers like superhuman speed, strength, and endurance, he can also fly, take the form of amphibians, and control other sea creatures. Nevertheless, the blue-eyed villain also has one crucial weakness which becomes apparent when he has been out of the water for a long time. The longer he stays out of it, the weaker his powers become. However, as soon as he gets the chance to briefly dive down again, his strength is immediately restored. His second weakness is rather human, because Namor gets easily angered and upset, which is due to the amount of oxygen in his blood. And last but not least, almost every ordinary human has the chance to defeat Namor. Since his body has one crucial weak point, his head is extremely sensitive. Exactly why this is the case is not known for sure, but given Namor's superhuman speed, you have to be very lucky to hit this target. With the appearance of Namor the Submariner, it is also clear that the old conflict between Wakanda and Atlantis will be one of the central storylines of the film. The enmity between the two kingdoms is based on a past attack by Atlantis on Wakanda. The impact of the invasion on the land was devastating and marked the beginning of the hostility between the two advanced nations. Meanwhile, when the two eventually have to work together due to the so-called incursions, Shuri, who will be the main character in the upcoming installment, decides to secretly invade Atlantis. Namor in turn sees this as a declaration of war, which is precisely why he uses his strongest weapon, Thanos. In the comics, the enmity between the two nations ends with T'Challa banishing Namor to a parallel universe on the brink of destruction, which signifies Namor's certain death. This fate is of course impossible in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever without the presence of King T'Challa, which is why it's up to Shuri and her allies to decide how to deal with the conflict. As you can see, a suspenseful sequel is on the way, which will most definitely have a lot to offer. The characters of Shuri and Namor in particular will be groundbreaking, as this is where the movie deviates from the original comic and can set its very own course. In any case, we are eagerly awaiting the precise plot of Black Panther 2. Let's now move on to the lengthy production of the MCU blockbuster. Already at an early stage, the responsible parties agreed on a sequel to the successful Black Panther. Director and screenwriter Ryan Coogler, who directed both films, spoke about his ambitions for the follow-up back in May 2018. In the course of this, he also revealed that he would have a great interest in a spin-off with female protagonists, as he had clearly preferred the scenes with the female characters in the editing of Black Panther. Thus, Marvel and Coogler agreed to work together on the project again, and shooting was set to begin in early 2020. After delays caused by the pandemic, Chadwick Boseman unexpectedly passed away on August 28, 2020. Neither Coogler nor Kevin Feige or other Marvel executives knew about the actor's serious illness. Coogler spent about a year writing the entire script with T'Challa at the center, without suspecting that the movie would not even be released in this form. The following weeks must have been extremely challenging for the cast and crew. After all, they had to find a solution for the sequel in a timely manner, in addition to their personal mourning. After much back and forth, Disney decided to neither cast the character with a new actor nor let it live on digitally in any way. As a result of the chaos behind the scenes, filming was finally postponed until the summer of 2021. Due to the omission of the character T'Challa, Kevin Feige confirmed in January 2021 that they would rather focus on the other interesting characters of the first part and explore the complex subcultures of Wakanda. Only a few months later, the official title of the sequel was revealed: Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. When filming started in Atlanta on June 29th, it was not yet apparent that another major problem would soon arise. At the end of August 2021, almost exactly 1 year after Boseman's death, Shuri actress Letitia Wright sustained an injury during filming. Despite the actually only slight injuries to her shoulder, she had to recover for several months, which is why shooting temporarily came to a standstill again. After a truly exhausting and tragic production, the final take was finally shot on March 24th, 2022. Next, we will have a look at the cast, which is luckily known to a large degree. The main role will be played by Letitia Wright with her character Shuri. Also making a comeback with her are Lupita Nyong'o as Nakia, Winston Duke as M'Baku, Danai Gurira as General Okoye, Angela Bassett as Ramonda, and Danny Sapani as Border Tribe Elder. Morgan Freeman will likewise return to play the role of Agent Everett Ross. Moreover, Marvel fans can look forward to an appearance by Dominic Thorne as Ironheart. This marks her MCU debut as the unofficial successor to Iron Man, even prior to being seen in her own Disney Plus series. It is still unclear whether Killmonger will make another appearance. After all, he did actually die in the first installment. Many are sure that he will return in some form, although there's no official confirmation yet. Equally unconfirmed is an appearance by Doctor Doom, who according to some reports will make a very brief but memorable debut. This is not unlikely, after all. He's the nemesis of the Fantastic Four and has wanted to take control of Wakanda many times in the past. And there you have it. This was our original for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Did you enjoy watching this video, and would you have wanted a different approach for Chadwick Boseman's role as King T'Challa? Feel free to let us know in the comments. We can hardly wait for the sequel. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is scheduled for release on November 11th, 2022. We are very excited to see what will happen. See you next time.